At Shabbos, a bicycle with a trolley filled with sand comes to the border between two countries. The border agent comes and looks at the fellow. What are you bringing in? It says, just some sand. He looks through the sand, doesn't find anything, lets him go. The next day, he comes back again with his bicycle and a trolley full of sand. He's getting a little, the border agent is getting suspicious. What's in here? Nothing. He looks through it thoroughly, finds nothing, lets him go. Third day, comes again with his bicycle and a trolley filled with sand. This time, the border agent brings a metal detector and goes through the sand with a metal detector. Nothing. Lets him go. A fourth time he comes with his bicycle and his trolley full of sand. And then the border agent says, tell me something. I know you're smuggling something, but I cannot find what it is. I'll let you through, but tell me, what are you smuggling? He says, bicycles. The evil inclination has many ways for it to convince us to do the wrong thing. And let's go through a few of them. In this week's Torah portion, we speak about the person who goes astray, the woman who goes astray. And it's a time to think about what are the causes for us to go astray. Well, one thing is the Talmud says the Yetzer Hara is like a fly. What do you mean a fly? Just like most animals, if you push them away, throw them away, they're not coming back. The fly comes again and again and again. You can push it and shoo it away, but it's coming back at you. The story of Rabbi Schapiro gives an analogy that there was this alcoholic whose wife said, if you don't stop drinking, I'm leaving you. So he stops drinking. One day he just has this incredible urge, and he goes out and he's going towards the bar to get a drink. But then he thinks, that's crazy. I can't do that. And he walks towards home. Then he thinks, just one little drink, not going to be a big deal. And he goes back and forth, till he gets back into his house. He looks in the mirror. He's so proud of himself. Look what kind of strong person I am. I stopped myself from drinking. And he says, that's worthy of a cup of whiskey. So that's how the Yetzer Hara works. He'll always find an in. Even when you succeed, boom, he gets you. Other way is that he comes a little bit at a time. He just gets in, and once he has an in, he's able to grab a hold of you. There's a story of the Baal Shem Tov that he came to town to a wedding with a group of students, and there's a person that Baal Shem Tov bumps into, and he whispers something in his ear, and the students think, "Ooh, this must be some tzaddik the Baal Shem Tov approached and spoke to." They go up to this guy and they say, "Tell us, what did the Baal Shem Tov tell you?" And he doesn't want to tell them, and they bug him and pester him until he says, "Okay, this is what happened. I have a good friend who went away for business for many months. He comes back, and there's a big party in his home, and I come home to greet him, and when I get into the house, I see his wallet full of cash on the table, and no one's around. So I want to teach him a lesson, not to just leave something so valuable around. So I take it, and I put on with the idea that I'm going to give it back to him. Then all of a sudden, it's noticed that it's missing. There's a home tumult in the house. There's a what happened? It got lost. It got stolen. What happened to the wallet? Now, if I told them that I'm the one who took it, I would feel like an idiot. So I decided I'm going to wait till things calm down and then give it to him. Well, in the meantime, his debtors come along screaming, you have to pay us back. You have to pay us back. And it's gotten way too big. I said, this is not the time for me to give it back. So I'll have to wait further. And then I decided, you know what? I'm waiting anyway. Might as well make the money work. So I can't put the money here. Everyone's going to suspect me. So I have to go somewhere else. And that's where I'm going to invest it in order. And ultimately, I give it back. So Baal Shem Tov comes up to me. He says, listen, don't be a fool. Go back home, give him back the money, and explain exactly what happened. And I'll trust you. He'll believe you, and don't worry about it. And that's where I'm going. So that's where it works. First, he took it as a joke to teach him a lesson. But from that step, it's a slippery slope to get down to the furthest of levels. The third thing is the following. There's a story in the Talmud in Tractate Baba Basra. It tells us, it's really an analogy. Rabbi Chana says that the seaman told him that there is this, what is the waves that are able to sink massive ships? The waves that sink massive ships have this sliver of white fire on the top of the wave. And what that means is, says the Ben Yehoyada, the sliver of white fire is, the question, first of all, is, How is it possible that a ship, which is the human being, which is people who are successful, who are on the top of their game, how are they able to be overcome, sunk by crazy mistakes that they make? And the answer is because they see a white fire on the top, meaning to say they think it's not like you have a fight between what I know is right and what I want to do because it'll be enjoyable for me. It's not always the way the Yetzer Hara works. The Yetzer Hara is not always a very obvious, danger sign, poison sign, devil sign. No, no, no. It sometimes dresses up as a righteous person, has a long black coat with tzitzis and yarmulke, and says, "Who are you to do that? You want to be involved in the community, but who do you think you are? You must be much more humble than that. You're ignorant. What are you getting involved? What do you know already to be involved in the community? You're so ignorant. Why are you going to shul and davening there? People are going to be talking to you. You're not going to be able to concentrate. You're better off sitting at home and concentrate here. You'll be able to concentrate much better. The community is studying something together, but you're much smarter. You could learn on your own much better, and thereby taking away the very quality of 10 people learn together is a great, powerful force of positive energy. And when someone removes themselves from that, especially if without them there isn't the 10, they're actually disturbing that incredible energy that could be there. So this is how the Yetzer Hara works. It kind of tries to fool you into thinking that what you're doing is right. And sometimes, the way the Alter Rebbe says, and the way this week's Parsha says, is a person doesn't sin until a spirit of folly and foolishness comes into him. What does it mean? That he thinks that this is not going to affect his connection to Hashem, that he's still going to be connected and totally, everyone's going to think this is not going to impact his relationships. It's not going to impact his standing community. Everyone will understand. It's not a big deal. Nothing really happened. It's a small thing. So this is what the Yetzer Hara convinces you, that the things that you're doing that are not right is not a big deal. And in truth, however, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. Anything that we do that is against Hashem's will is a big deal. But the Yetzer Hara makes it not a big deal. So how we have this in the story of Potiphar's wife, and try to convince Yosef to sleep with her. And she basically tries to say, it's not a big deal because of what, no one knows you. You're from a faraway place. And these are your choices. You either sleep with me and continue on your life as you have it now, or you don't, and you'll be put into a dungeon. And who are people going to believe, me or you? And if you do the wrong thing, there's nothing done, no big deal. So it says he was actually going to sin with her, and then he sees a vision of his father, Yaakov. So how did that change it? Because Yaakov looked like Adam. And it says that Adam and he looked exactly like Adam. Now, Adam had the entire world within him. And his sin caused death for all humanity forever. Without his sin of a tree of knowledge, there wouldn't be. So he therefore tells Potiphar's wife, how can I do hara agdela, this great evil? Adam, if he would realize that what the entire world was on his back when he did what he did, maybe he wouldn't have done it. He didn't realize how bad it was. He didn't realize how impactful it will be. And that's what Jesus says. No, this is indeed a rag dela. This is very impactful, what is going to happen. The story of Rabbi Melech Lezhensk asks his brother, Rabbi Zusha, he says, we were both within Adam, because he is inclusion of all souls that ever existed. So we were there. How come you didn't hold his hand and stop him from eating the fruit? Says Rabbi Zusha, if we would have, we would always look and say, what would have been? What kind of, crown of roses did we miss out on? But now we realize that's now, after he sinned, we realized how terrible, what the impact and what the negativity that it does. So therefore, we have to realize, Yetzer Hara is a fly. It starts with something small. It convinces us it's the right thing, and it tells us it's only a little thing. It's no big deal. It's not disconnecting us from anything or anyone. And when we realize and recognize what it is, then we have the tools of how to deal with it. And one of the ways of dealing with it, don't let it get a foothold. Don't let it in at all. Even though we're not in control what comes to our mind, we are in control what stays in our mind. So if we have some thoughts that are not okay, not the proper, whether it be in areas of morality, whether it be in areas of hatred or dislike for another person, you know what we should do? As soon as that thought comes to us, just push it away. We have the power. How? Putting other things in our mind that are helpful, that are positive, that are good. And that way we are able to control the Yetzer Hara's effect on us at an early stage. Good Shabbos.